Трансферният пазар във футбола винаги е любопитен, тъй като всички отбори се стремят да се подсилят с нови играчи. Тогава е време за вълнение, очакване или разочарование за всеки футболен фен. Любимият ти отбор е свързан с играч от световна класа и си в очакване на трансфер, но понякога такава сделка изобщо не се случва. В медиите е пълно с спекулации, слухове и фалшиви новини, но има един човек, който през годините успя да се превърне в абсолютен експерт по трансферни новини в света на футбола. Това е Фабрицио Романо.
This is Fabrizio Romano and here we go.
Фабрицио е само на 18 години, когато съобщава първата си голяма трансферна новина. 6 месеца след като започва работа за малък сайт в родината си Италия, с него се свърза агент с любопитна информация. Мъжът помолил Романо да напише история за двама млади играчи от Академията на Барселона, с които се опитва да подпише. Единият от тях бе Мауро Икарди. Фабрицио все още не знае как агентът е получил номерът му, но той се съгласява и няколко седмици по-късно беше първият, който обяви, че Икарди ще се присъедини към Самдория. Така започва и се влюбва в работата на трансферен журналист. За него трансферният пазар е джунгла, където всеки ден очакваш неочакваното.
Things change is part of life, and I think it's also why transfer market is beautiful. Leo Messi was in Barcelona to sign his new contract with Barcelona, and 12 hours later he was talking with Paris Saint-Germain and left Barcelona. But I think people love it because it's crazy.
За Фабрицио трансферната журналистика е като да играеш в футбол, а да съобщиш за голяма новина е като да вкараш гол в мач от Шампионската лига. Изминаха повече от 10 години, откакто Фабрицио Романо направи големият си пробив, а с течение на времето той се превърна в най-популярният и един от най-надежните спортни журналисти в света. Ако искате да разберете какво се случва на трансферният пазар, просто вижте неговият профил в Twitter, където той предоставя най-достоверната информация на своите над 12 милиона последователи. Фабрицио Романо има повече последователи от ESPN и това е една медийна компания, а не един журналист. Най-големите трансфери вече не се съобщават първо от телевизиите или вестниците, а от Фабрицио Романо. Но как е възможно един единствен журналист да се превърне в най-търсения човек за трансферни новини?
First of all, the connections are with many different people in football, so it could be with agents, with directors, with presidents sometimes, with players sometimes also, to be honest, players many times they are the last ones to know where they are going to play, so many times it's agents, directors and presidents to help and to know the updates on transfers. And to be honest, now I'm spending all my days since years and years to have new connections, to stay in touch with people, calling people. Social media are helping because now they can see me on social media, of course, with my name in my follow, but also try to enter in contact, to start contacts with people is important thanks to social media. So texting people on Instagram or texting people on Twitter, it was helping me a lot to try to bring new and to have new connections. And so my idea was try to bring Italian model of working on transfers. So to be always accurate, to check with different sources before sharing any news. So this kind of model in European football, European transfers was not so easy when I started because it's not easy to open talks and start contacts with people from different countries, England, Spain, South America, many different countries. But then now I think it's the best part of my job because I spend all my days to stay in contact with people, to have new updates, new info. Also now, when the window is closed, I'm always talking with people, trying to check because you have to be prepared when the window is open to be always in touch with your sources. So it's a long process, but I really love it.
Благодарение на Facebook и Twitter, медийната индустрия стана по-бърза и по-лична от всякога. Социалните медии дадоха шанса на журналистите да изградят публичен профил, който би бил невъзможен преди 20 години. Сега те могат да взаимодействат с читатели, да споделят мнението си по различни теми и да трупат последователи. Благодарение на възможността за публикуване на новини онлайн по всяко време на деня, старата практика да се изпраща история за сутрешния вестник е мъртва. Когато се появи новина, се очаква журналистите да я отразят веднага. Недостатъкът обаче е, че при бързото публикуване понякога се допускат грешки. Именно това отличава Фабрицио Романо. Неговият подход е много прост.
checking is the key word, because really before sharing in particular important news or talking about important clubs or important players is about checking with the two different clubs involved in the negotiation, with the player side, so with the agent. It's a long process, but be accurate is the message, is the key, and this is what we want to do. It's not about selling something to people, you know. I think it's the biggest idea of the social media, of trying bringing transfers on social media years ago, is I don't need to sell people something, because I don't have to sell a paper or a TV show. I just need to show people that I'm accurate and I'm trying to do a good job.
Трансферните новини са сравнително нова категория спортна журналистика, но за да разберем как са се появили, трябва да се върнем малко по-назад във времето. През 1995 година се случи нещо революционно в професионалният футбол. На 15 декември Европейският съд постанови правилото Босман, което предизвика коренна промяна на трансферният пазар. Според него, играчите са свободни агенти след изтичането на договорите им и клубовете нямат право да искат за тях трансферна сума. Законът е кръстен на белгийският халф Жан-Марк Босман, който през 1990 година играе в Лиеж, но след изтичане на договора му не може да продължи кариерата си никъде заради трансферната сума, която клубът иска за него. Така съдът позволи свободните агенти и премахна лимита за чуждестранни играчи от Европейския съюз. След това съдебно решение, трансферният пазар буквално експлодира. През 1996 година най-скъпият играч в историята бе феномена Роналдо, който премина в Барселона за 15 милиона евро. 5 години по-късно Зинедин Зидан премина в Реал Мадрид за почти 80 милиона евро. И всички знаем какво се случи през 2017 година. С нарастването на сумите на трансферите, нараства и общественият интерес към отразяването на тези трансфери. Феновете създадоха форуми и блогове, за да обсъждат най-новите слухове около техният клуб. Отличен пример за това е transfermarket.com, който бе основан през 2000 година и бързо се превърна в най-голямата база данни за трансферна информация и пазарна цена на почти всички футболисти в света. Днес той дори функционира като ориентир за агенти и ръководители на клубове.
I think in the last 6-7 years where the transfers completely changed. Now people are waiting for transfer news more than team news to know what is the lineup of their team. They prefer to know who they're signing than maybe watching a football game. I remember 10 years ago, 9 years ago, it was like 1 week to complete an agreement. You were going to see the rumor about the top club, and 7 days later you had the player with the new club. Now you need like 1 month or 2 months, also because the intermediary have an important part and they have to be paid with important commissions. Agents are so important in transfer market. He had the percent on the players, on the sale of the players.
Другата причина за нарастването на интереса към новините за трансфери е, че повечето от тях се случват в разгара на лятото, когато всички клубни първенства са в почивка. Експертите установиха, че 95% от феновете искат да общуват с любимите си първенства и отбори през цялата година, а отразяването на трансферите запълва тази празнина.
Yeah, it's been a long way, a long ride, just because I started when I was 17 and I was in Naples. Then I moved to Milano when I was 18, and my biggest luck has been to be here in Milano because everything for European football, Italian football, but I would say European football is in Milano, with many agents, many directors, not just of Italian clubs, but also of European clubs are staying in Milano during the transfer window for meetings and this kind of things. It's the city of transfers, and so going around the city during the summer, during January transfer window, for me has been key to be always in touch with people. And then at the same time trying to develop my work also on social media, so not just on traditional channels, but also on social media to try to bring the news on to all people. And so that's how people were starting to trust me. It was not easy when I was starting, because of course people didn't know me, so they were trusting me just because they were trusting the person, but not the journalist because they didn't know about me and my story. Now it's every day is a fight because you have to be always connected, always checking and calling people, always having good relationships. So it's absolutely not easy, but I think I'm really lucky because working in football is the best thing that can happen to any people.
По време на трансферният пазар, италианецът спи само 5 часа на ден и прекарва останалото си време в търсене на новини и провеждане на разговори по телефона. Фабрицио има поне 50 такива обаждания на ден, а понякога прекарва 16-17 часа в разговори, за да направи топ трансфер. Той е високо ценен заради невероятната си работна етика. Интересува се преди всичко от това да бъде точен, вместо да се опита да бъде първият, който разкрива нов трансфер. Фабрицио Романо не би постигнал славата, която има днес, без полезни съвети от друг професионалист – Джанлука Ди Маурицио, който също има добра репутация за качественото си отразяване на сделките в италианската серия А. Именно Ди Маурицио въвежда Романо в голямата игра, запознавайки го с много важни личности. А тези контакти помагат на Романо да събере ключова информация и да е на крачка пред останалите журналисти с новини за футболните трансфери.
The biggest case I had was Wijnaldum to Barcelona. It was a done deal. It was agreed. So they already planned for medical for Wijnaldum to Barcelona. They were planned for medical, for announcement. Everything was in place. The medical staff of Barcelona was ready to go to Dutch national camp to have the medical with the player during the Euros. So everything was in place. And then Paris Saint-Germain made him a new bid, more than doubled salary. So it was a huge bid to Gini Wijnaldum. Pochettino was calling him. They were trying to convince the player, and they did it. So they changed their mind in 24 hours. During one single night, Wijnaldum changed his mind and said to Barcelona, sorry, but I'm going to Paris Saint-Germain. But it was agreed, verbally agreed. They were preparing the contracts. So sometimes in transfers, crazy things happen. David Silva, Spain midfielder, former Manchester City player, now he's with Real Sociedad. Before going to Real Sociedad from Manchester City, he was new Lazio player to join Serie A side Lazio. Was done. It was completely done. They were waiting for the player to arrive in Rome during the weekend to have the medical. And then what happened with his family? He decided to go back to Spain, that he wanted to change his mind because Spain was his favorite destination. And so Lazio director was furious, and he said in public, we are really disappointed with David Silva. I was happy about this interview of the director because people were attacking me saying, you say it is done for David Silva to Lazio. And I said, if he changes his mind, I'm not David Silva himself in the situation, and I can't sign contracts. And so the director of Lazio confirmed that it was completely done. So free agents can change their mind till last minute, till they sign the contract. Because when you have two clubs, it's different. The process is easier because for a journalist, because you can talk with the two clubs, and when two clubs have an agreement, okay, for the player, he's going to this club. But between player and club, so with not two clubs involved, only one single club and free agent player, it's really complicated because they can change their mind in 5 minutes. It's crazy. When I have everything confirmed by my sources, basically. So when everything is really agreed, verbally agreed, because contract signed means that it's going to be official in some minutes maybe, or in some hours, so it's too easy. So when it's verbally agreed, and when everything is really verbally agreed, for me is here we go. So it means that I'm sure that my sources could be 1 or 2 or 3 different sources. It depends by the level of the source. I have sources I 100% trust, and they can give me a call and tell me 3 words, and for me it's a here we go because I trust them 100%. And I have sources that I always need to check 2 or 3 times with different people. So it depends. But for me it's important that everything is verbally agreed, and I am 100% sure that something is really happening. So for me it's here we go when something is 100% happening and something is agreed. Then if they sign the contract, it's not up to me. It was totally casual, totally random. I was just tweeting about Manchester United move. I don't remember the name because it was not planned. So it was not a plan for me to have a brand or something like this. And so I was tweeting about this move since weeks. It was long negotiation. And then at the end of this negotiation, I tweeted, okay, finally now it's done, completed, and here we go. Like saying, okay, finally we can move to the next one because it was a long one. Okay, we did it. And people were excited on Twitter. Then the day after, I started to tweet about Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, other clubs. And they started texting me under the tweet, Fabrizio, can we see here we go also for this other move to Liverpool, to Chelsea, to Arsenal? And I said, wow, so they want an approval from me. Okay, let's do it. And so I was trying to use the here we go in the following days. They were appreciating it. And I love it because it's just made together with my followers. So it was not something planned with an agency or by myself or something like this. It was just talking with people in a normal way on social media. This is why I love it.